I'm done pretending. He whispers it against my ear, the words vibrating through his chest and straight into my spine. His hand is heavy on my waist, possessive, unyielding, burning through the thin silk of the dress he bought me only 3 hours ago. The ballroom has gone silent. Hundreds of eyes are fixed on us now, sharp and hungry, predators waiting for a crack in the armor. But Alessandro isn't looking at them. He's looking at me. Those dark eyes strip away every lie we've told ourselves since the moment we met. He leans closer, his lips brushing the sensitive skin just below my ear, and a shiver rattles through my bones. "Do you hear me, Elena?" he murmurs. "The contract is dead. You aren't playing a role anymore." A pause. "You're mine." $74.12. That's how much money is sitting in my checking account right now. I don't need to open the banking app on my cracked phone to confirm it. That number is burned into my retinas, a neon sign of failure flashing behind my eyes every time I blink. I shift my weight from one aching foot to the other. The cheap soles of my black service flats offer zero mercy against the marble floors of the grand hallway. The tray of crystal flutes in my hands feels like it weighs 50 pounds. But my arms don't shake. They can't. If I drop even one glass, the catering manager, sweaty palms, sandpaper sole, will dock my pay. And I need that pay. I need it the way I need oxygen. "Keep moving, Elena," I whisper to myself. 2 more hours, then you can go home to Leo. Leo, my sweet 5-year-old boy. The thought of him wraps around my heart, warm, protective, and tightens the knot of anxiety in my stomach at the same time. Mrs. Higgins, our downstairs neighbor, is watching him tonight, but her patience is thinning. The inhaler refill is due tomorrow. $40 with the copay. Then there's the rent on our shoebox apartment on the jagged edge of Chicago, where the heat works only when it feels like it, and sirens sing us to sleep. The eviction notice is taped to the fridge, bright, unavoidable, ticking down the days. My phone buzzed 20 minutes ago. "I'm coming for custody, Elle. You can't even feed him." "Travis." It's a lie. I always feed Leo, even when dinner for me is saltines and water. But the threat is real. Travis has no job and a temper that cracks drywall, but his mother has money, and a lawyer who smells blood. I push through the heavy oak doors into the main ballroom, forcing a smile onto my face. It's a mask. I've become very good at masks. The room is suffocatingly opulent. Chandeliers the size of small cars drip from the ceiling, bathing everything in gold. Men in tuxedos worth more than my lifetime earnings. Women glittering with diamonds that could pay my rent for a decade. The air smells like expensive perfume and old money. And beneath it, something sharper. Cigar smoke, power, secrets, danger. The gathering isn't just a charity gala, it's a summit. Even I, the invisible catering girl, can tell. The energy here is coiled tight, like a snake waiting to strike. I weave through the crowd, offering champagne to men who don't look at my face, only at the tray or my chest. I am a ghost to them. Furniture that breathes. "Excuse me," I murmur, sidestepping a man with a jagged scar running down his cheek. He ignores me, his eyes locked on a figure standing near the balcony doors. I follow his gaze. The man standing there is terrifying. That's my first thought. He's tall, easily 6'4", with shoulders that strain the fabric of his midnight blue suit. His hair is the color of espresso, swept back from a face carved from granite and regret. He isn't talking to anyone. He's just watching the room with eyes so dark they look black, holding a glass of scotch he hasn't touched. There is a perimeter of space around him, a force field of intimidation that keeps even these powerful men at bay. Alessandro. I heard the other servers whispering the name in the kitchen. The Prince of Chicago. The heir to the Rossi Empire. They say his father died last month, leaving him the keys to a kingdom built on blood and concrete. They say he has no heart. As I watch, his gaze shifts. Across the room, the man with the scar reaches into his jacket. It happens in slow motion, the glint of metal, the shift in stance. My body moves before my brain catches up. It's the adrenaline, the same instinct that makes me snatch Leo back from a busy street. I'm standing 3 feet from the scarred man. I see the gun. I don't scream. I stumble. I fake a trip, my shoulder colliding hard with the gunman's arm just as he draws. The gun clatters to the floor. The tray of champagne goes flying. Glass shatters with the sound of a bomb going off. Silence slams into the room. I'm on the floor, my knees stinging, surrounded by broken crystal and spilt alcohol. The gunman looks down at me, his face twisting into a snarl of pure rage. He raises a hand to backhand me, to punish the clumsy waitress who ruined his shot. I flinch, squeezing my eyes shut, waiting for the blow. It never comes. A hand grabs the man's wrist. It's a large, tanned hand with a heavy gold signet ring on the pinky. "I believe," a voice says, smooth as velvet and cold as the grave, "that the lady just saved my life." I open my eyes. Alessandro Rossi is standing over me. Up close, he is devastating. The scent of sandalwood and leather washes over me, drowning out the smell of spilt champagne. He hasn't let go of the gunman's wrist. He twists it, a casual, brutal motion, and I hear the wet crunch of bone breaking. The gunman screams, dropping to his knees. Security swarms instantly, dragging the wailing man away. But Alessandro doesn't look at the assassin. He looks at me. He crouches down, heedless of the glass that could ruin his pants. His eyes lock onto mine, intense and searching. There is no gratitude in them, only calculation. And something else. Curiosity. "You saw the gun," he states. "It's not a question. You threw yourself into the line of fire. Why?" My heart is hammering against my ribs like a trapped bird. I have a son," I stammer, the truth spilling out because my brain is misfiring. I can't go to jail for being an accessory to murder if I saw it and did nothing. A flicker of amusement dances in his dark eyes. Pragmatic. I like that. He reaches out a hand. "Stand up." I hesitate. Taking his hand feels like signing a contract I haven't read. But the manager is rushing over, his face purple with fury, ready to fire me on the spot for the mess. "You stupid girl," the manager hisses, ignoring the fact that I just stopped a homicide. "Look at this mess. You're done. Get out. Don't expect your check." "No," Alessandro says. He doesn't raise his voice, but the word cuts through the air like a whip. The manager freezes. Alessandro stands, pulling me up with him. His grip is iron strong, yet strangely gentle. "She isn't fired. In fact, she's quitting." He looks down at me, his gaze dropping to my name tag. "Elena, come with me." I can't," I whisper, conscious of the hundreds of eyes now staring at us. My uniform is soaked in champagne. I need this job. I need the money. "You need money?" He tilts his head, assessing me. He sees the frayed hem of my skirt, the scuffed shoes, and the exhaustion etched under my eyes. He sees everything. "I have a proposition for you, Elena. After a single night of work, I will offer you $10,000. I will pay you $10,000. The world ceases to exist. The amount is $10,000. That's rent for 6 months. That's Leo's medicine. That's a lawyer fighting Travis." What kind of work?" I ask, my voice trembling. He leans in close, invading my personal space, his body shielding me from the rest of the room. "My grandfather is flying in from Palermo tonight. He expects to meet my fiancée. The woman who will assist me in legitimizing the family business is my fiancée." He pauses, his eyes roaming over my face, lingering on my mouth. "I don't have a fiancée," he says softly. "But you just saved the boss. You're brave, you're desperate, and you're beautiful enough to be believable." He holds out his hand again. "Be my fiancée for tonight, Elena. Wear the ring, smile at the older man, and you leave with $10,000 in cash." My mind screams danger. This is the Mafia. This is the world my mother warned me about, the world that swallows girls like me whole. But then I think of the eviction notice. I think of Leo's wheezing chest. I look at his hand. I look at his dangerous, beautiful face. "Cash," I say, my voice steadying. "I want it in cash. Tonight." Alessandro smiles, And it's a terrifying transformation. It makes him look like a fallen angel who just found his way home. "Done," he says. "Welcome to the family, cara mia." The moment I take his hand, the energy in the room shifts. It's no longer just curiosity. It's shock. The invisible waitress is suddenly holding the hand of the king. He pulls me toward the exit, his stride long and purposeful. I have to practically jog to keep up, my wet shoes squeaking on the marble. "Where are we going?" I hiss, trying to keep my head down. "The penthouse," he replies without looking back. "You need a dress. You smell like cheap champagne and fear. Neither suits my future wife." We reach the elevators and the doors slide open. He ushers me inside and presses the button for the top floor. As the doors close, shutting out the party's noise, the silence in the small metal box is deafening. "I'm trapped in a box with a predator," he turns to me, leaning back against the mirrored wall, crossing his arms over his massive chest. "Relax, Elena. I don't bite, unless asked." I don't smile. "You just broke a man's wrist like it was a twig." "He was trying to kill me. I was being polite. Usually I take the hand." He says it so casually, like he's discussing the weather. "Tell me about the son. Leo, was it?" I stiffen. "Leave my son out of this. I need to know my backstory," he says, his voice dropping an octave. "If we are to be engaged, I must know about the child I am supposedly stepfathering." "How old?" "5, I say tightly. "He has asthma, he loves dinosaurs, and he is the only reason I am agreeing to this insanity." "Good. Maternal instinct is a powerful motivator. It means you won't run when things get difficult." "Will things get difficult?" I ask, feeling a cold dread settle in my stomach. The elevator dings. The doors open to reveal a penthouse that looks less like a home and more like a fortress of glass and steel. "My grandfather is a traditional man," Alessandro says, stepping out. "He believes a man without a wife is a man without a center. If I want full control of the board, I need his blessing. You are that blessing." He leads me down a hallway lined with modern art that looks violent and expensive. He pushes open a door to a bedroom that is larger than my entire apartment. On the bed, there are boxes, several of them. I took the liberty of having a stylist send over options for a companion earlier today. I never intended to use them, but fate is amusing. He gestures to the bed. "Pick something. Black or red. Those are the Rossi colors. You have 10 minutes. He turns to leave but stops at the door. "And Elena?" I look up, clutching my arms around my chest. "Don't try to leave. The elevators are coded. You're safe here, but you are also contained." He closes the door and the lock clicks. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding, my legs shaking so hard that I had to sit on the edge of the massive bed. I run my hand over the velvet duvet. It's soft and luxurious. Everything here screams power. I stand up and walk to the window. Below me, the Chicago skyline unfolds, a grid of golden lights amidst the darkness. Somewhere down there, in the shadows, is my apartment. My reality. I turn to the boxes. I open the first one. A dress of blood-red silk spills out. It's backless, with a plunging neckline that makes me blush just looking at it. I strip off my soggy uniform, kicking the cheap shoes into the corner. I catch my reflection in the floor-to-ceiling mirror. I look pale and thin. My collarbones are too prominent. I look like a woman who is surviving, not living. I step into the red dress. It fits like a second skin, cold silk warming against my body. It hugs my hips and flares slightly at the feet. I look different, dangerous. I find a pair of heels in another box, black stilettos with red soles. They are my size. Of course they are. Men like Alessandro Rossi don't make mistakes. I walk into the bathroom attached to the suite. It's all black marble and gold fixtures. I fix my hair, pulling the messy catering bun into a sleek twist. I pinch my cheeks to add color. When I open the bedroom door 10 minutes later, Alessandro is waiting. He's changed his jacket. He's holding a small velvet box. He looks up, and for a second his mask slips. His eyes widen slightly, traveling from my feet to my eyes. He inhales sharply. Dio mio, he murmurs. Perhaps this will be easier than I thought. He walks toward me, and the air in the hallway seems to thin. He stops inches from me. He smells of smoke now, fresh tobacco. Give me your hand, he commands. I lift my left hand. My fingers are trembling. He opens the box. Inside sits a diamond the size of a quail egg, an emerald cut set in platinum. It's breathtaking. It's heavy. He slides it onto my finger. It fits perfectly. Why does it fit? I whisper. Because I own the jewelry store, he says, and I have a good eye for sizing. He doesn't let go of my hand. He rubs his thumb over my knuckles. The touch is electric, sending a jolt straight to my core. It isn't very clear. I should be terrified. I am terrified. But my body is reacting to him in a way it hasn't responded to a man in years. Grandfather is downstairs in the private dining room, he says, his voice rougher now. Remember the rules. You adore me. I saved you from a boring life. We met 6 months ago at a gallery opening. You are the light in my dark world. And you? I ask, meeting his gaze. What are you to me? He steps closer, his chest brushing against mine. The heat radiating off him is intoxicating. I am your protector, he says, his eyes burning into mine. Tonight, and for as long as you wear this ring, no one touches you but me. Do you understand? I nod, unable to speak. Good. Now smile, Bella. We have an audience to deceive. The private dining room is dimly lit, the table set for 3. An older man sits at the head. He looks like a withered version of Alessandro, but with even colder eyes. This is Don Carlo. Alessandro keeps his hand on the small of my back as we enter. It's a possessive gesture, branding me. No, Alessandro says, nodding his head slightly. This is Elena. The older man doesn't smile. He stares at me for a long, uncomfortable minute. He looks at the dress. He looks at the ring. He looks at my hands, which are gripping my clutch for dear life. She is thin, Don Carlo rasps. She looks like a stray cat. She is resilient, Alessandro counters, his voice hard. And she is mine. We sit. The dinner is an exercise in torture. Servers bring course after course of food, but I'm too nervous to eat. Don Carlo asks intrusive questions. Where are your parents? Dead. Do you have siblings? No. Are you Catholic? Lapsed. I answer them all with the lies Alessandro fed me in the elevator, but I keep stumbling. I'm not a liar by nature. And how does a woman like you, Don Carlo asks, cutting into his steak with surgical precision, tame a wolf like my grandson? I freeze. I look at Alessandro. He's watching me, his face impassive, but his hand finds mine under the table. He squeezes it. A lifeline. He doesn't need taming, I say, the words coming from somewhere deep inside me. I think of how he broke the gunman's wrist, how he stood between the manager and me. He just needs someone who isn't afraid of the dark. Alessandro's head snaps toward me. Surprise colors his features. Don Carlo pauses, his fork halfway to his mouth. A slow, dry smile spreads across his face. Good answer, the old man chuckles. Very good. The tension breaks. We survived. But the night isn't over. As we are leaving the dining room, a man in a gray suit hurries over to Alessandro. He whispers something in Alessandro's ear. Alessandro's face goes stone cold. The muscle in his jaw jumps. Take Elena to the car, he orders the man. Use the back exit. What's happening? I ask, panic rising again. A complication, Alessandro says. He turns to me, cupping my face in his hands. His thumbs trace my cheekbones. Go with Marco. Go to the safe house. I will come for you. Safe house? Alessandro, I have to go home. Leo? You can't go home, he says, his voice grim. The man who tried to kill me tonight. He has brothers. And because you saved me, because you are wearing my ring, they know who you are now. My blood runs cold. What are you saying? I'm saying, he looks deep into my eyes, that the engagement is fake, Elena. But the danger is very, very real. You are a target now. No, I whisper, my son. Marco has a team picking up Leo and Mrs. Higgins right now. They are already on their way to the safe house. You kidnapped my son? I shriek, shoving at his chest. I secured your son, he corrects, catching my wrists. I keep what is mine safe. And like it or not, Elena, you are mine now. He kisses my forehead, a powerful, desperate press of lips, and then pushes me toward the bodyguard. Go! I'm hustled out the back door into the rainy Chicago night. A black SUV is waiting. I'm shoved inside. As we speed away, I look back. I see Alessandro standing on the sidewalk, buttoning his jacket. Shadows detach themselves from the alleyway, moving toward him. He doesn't flinch. He cracks his neck and steps into the fight. My heart is torn apart. Fear for Leo, fear for myself, and God help me, I fear for the monster in the midnight blue suit who just bought my life for $10,000. The safe house is less a home than a fortress disguised as a mansion in the suburbs. High walls, cameras everywhere, and men with earpieces patrolling the perimeter. I run through the front door the moment the car stops. Leo! I scream. Mommy! He comes barreling out of a side room, holding a toy dinosaur. I drop to my knees in the grand foyer, catching him in my arms. He smells like milk and powerful laundry detergent. The smell of home. I bury my face in his neck, sobbing with relief. Mrs. Higgins is there, looking bewildered but unharmed, holding a cup of tea. Elena, dear, she says, her voice trembling. These nice men said that there was a gas leak in the building, right? They brought us here in a limousine. A gas leak, a kind lie. Yes, I choke out, smoothing Leo's hair. Yes, a gas leak. We have to stay here for a little while. Is this a castle? Leo asks, looking around at the vaulted ceilings. Something like that, baby. I get them settled in a guest room that is nicer than any hotel I've ever seen. I wait until Leo is asleep, his breathing rhythmic and even. I check his inhaler on the nightstand. Full. I step out into the hallway. It's quiet. Too quiet. I need to know if Alessandro is alive. I walk down the hall, searching for a phone or anyone who can help. I find a study with the door ajar. A fire is crackling in the hearth. I push the door open. Alessandro is there. He's sitting in a leather armchair, a glass of whiskey in his hand. His jacket is gone. His white dress shirt is unbuttoned at the top, the sleeves rolled up. And there is blood, a lot of it. A white bandage is wrapped around his left forearm, stained red. There's a cut above his eyebrow that has been stitched shut. You're bleeding, I say, stepping into the room. He looks up. His eyes are weary, but they sharpen when they land on me. I've had worse, he says. His voice is gravelly. Is the boy settled? Yes. He thinks we're on vacation. I walk closer, my anger warring with the strange pull I feel toward him. You had no right to move him without my permission. I had every right, he snaps. The Volkov brothers put a price on your head the moment you left the gala. If I had left him there, he would have been used as leverage by morning. The bluntness of it knocks the wind out of me. Who are you people? I whisper. We are the people who run this city, he says. He takes a long swallow of whiskey. And you, Elena, have just walked into the middle of a war. He sets the glass down and hisses in pain, clutching his arm. The bandage is soaking through. You're bleeding through, I say. I was a nursing student for 2 years before Leo was born, before the money ran out. Instinct takes over. I walk to the desk where a first aid kit is sitting open. He must have tried to patch himself up. Let me see. I'm fine, he grunts, trying to pull away. Don't be an idiot, I say, slapping his hand away. Sit still. He freezes, surprised by my tone. I peel back the tape. It's a knife wound. Deep, but clean. The stitches are sloppy. He did them one-handed. This needs to be redone, I say, grabbing the antiseptic. This is going to sting. I clean the wound. He doesn't make a sound, but his muscles bunch under my fingers, His skin is hot, hard. "You have gentle hands," he murmurs, watching me work. "I wanted to be a nurse," I say, threading the needle. "Hold still." I stitch him up, my movements precise. The room is silent except for the crackle of the fire and the sound of our breathing. I am standing between his spread legs, bent over his arm. It's an incredibly intimate position. I tie off the last stitch and tape it. Done. I look up. He is staring at me. His face is inches from mine. "You are a woman of many surprises, Elena," he whispers. "And you are a man of many enemies." "True." He lifts his hand, the uninjured one, and tucks a loose strand of hair behind my ear. His fingers linger on my neck, his thumb resting on my pulse point. My heart races under his touch, and I know he can feel it. "We have a problem," he says softly. "The Russians?" "No." His gaze drops to my lips. "The contract stated this was for one night, but with the Volkovs hunting you, I cannot let you go, not until the threat is neutralized." "So I'm a prisoner?" "You are a guest under my protection." He leans closer. "But my grandfather, he called. He was impressed by you. He wants to throw an engagement party. Next week." I laugh, a hysterical, bubbly sound. "You've got to be kidding me." "I wish I were. We have to keep up the charade, Elena. For your safety. For Leo's safety. If the world thinks you are the future Mrs. Rossi, no one will touch you without starting a war with me." He stands up, towering over me. The sheer size of him is overwhelming. "So," he says, his voice dropping to that dangerous whisper again. "Are you ready to play the role of a lifetime?" I look at the blood on his shirt. I think of Leo sleeping safely down the hall. I think of the $10,000 in my purse. "I'm done pretending," I say, echoing the words he hasn't said yet, the words that will define us later. But for now, I lie. I'll do it, but double the money. Alessandro throws his head back and laughs. It's a genuine sound, rich and deep. "You drive a tough bargain, Mrs. Rossi." "Done." He extends his hand. I take it. This time the electricity doesn't just spark, it burns. Sunlight hits my face like a physical blow. For a brief moment I experience panic. I don't recognize the ceiling. It's too high. The crown molding is too intricate. The smell is wrong. It doesn't smell like mildew and old cooking oil. It smells of crisp linen and rain. Then, memory crashes back in like a tidal wave. The gala, the gun, the blood. Alessandro. I sit up, my heart hammering a frantic rhythm against my ribs. Leo. I scramble out of the massive bed, tangling my legs in the sheets. I'm still wearing the silk robe I found in the bathroom last night. I didn't have pajamas. I didn't have anything. I sprint down the hallway, my bare feet silent on the plush runner. The house is massive, a labyrinth of shadows and expensive silence. But then I hear it. Laughter. It's a bright, bubbling sound that I haven't heard in months. Leo. I skid into the kitchen and freeze in the doorway. The sight before me stops the air in my lungs. Alessandro is sitting at the marble island. He's wearing a black t-shirt that clings to his chest and gray sweatpants. It's jarring to see the Prince of Chicago in loungewear, though he still looks lethal. A gun sits on the counter next to his espresso cup, casual as a spoon, but he's not looking at the gun. He's looking at Leo. My son is sitting on the counter, something I never allow, swinging his legs. He's eating a waffle the size of his head, covered in strawberries. "And then the T-Rex bit the car," Leo exclaims, waving a fork. "Crunch." "A T-Rex has a bite force of 12,000 pounds, Alessandro says seriously. He isn't talking down to Leo. He's speaking to him like an equal. It would crush a car like a soda can. Leo's eyes go wide. "Whoa, you know about dinosaurs?" "I know about predators," Alessandro says. He looks up, and his dark eyes lock onto mine. The air in the kitchen changes instantly. It gets heavier, charged with static. "Good morning, Elena," he says. The way he says my name, rolling the vowels, feels like a caress. "Mommy, look!" Leo points to the waffle. Mr. Alessandro made waffles, and he has a scar like a pirate. I walk over, my hand instinctively going to Leo's back, pulling him slightly away from the Mafia Don. Get down from the counter, Leo. We eat at the table. Let the boy eat where he wants, Alessandro says, taking a sip of his espresso. He has had a stressful night. He doesn't know it was stressful. I snap, though I keep my voice low. He thinks it's a vacation, and I don't want him getting used to this. I gesture vaguely at the high-end appliances, the abundance of food, and the man with the gun. Alessandro sets his cup down. The ceramic clinks against the marble. Are you saying you don't want him to get used to feeling safe? To be fed? I feed him, I say defensively, though the guilt stings. I take care of him. I know you do. You fight for him. But you are fighting a war with a toothpick, Elena. I am offering you a tank. He stands up and walks around the island. I have to tilt my head back to look at him. He is overwhelming in the morning light, all sharp angles and raw masculinity. The bandage on his arm is fresh. My men went to your apartment, he says quietly. My stomach drops. Why? To get your things, Leo's clothes, his toys, and... He reaches into his pocket and pulls out a stack of envelopes. These. I stare at them. I focus on the eviction notice. He receives a final warning from the electric company. He discards the medical bills. He tosses them onto the counter next to the gun. Paid, he says, all of them. I stare at the papers, my vision blurring. I didn't ask you to do that. I have the $10,000. Keep it. This is a signing bonus. He leans in, trapping me between his body and the counter. He smells of coffee and soap. You are my fiancé now. My family does not live in debt. It's not real, I whisper. We're pretending, remember? He steps closer, invading my personal space until his thighs brush mine. My breath hitches. The debt is paid, he murmurs, his voice dropping to a rumble. Consider it part of the arrangement. You play the part, and I handle the problems. That includes the bills, and it includes the ex-boyfriend who has been blowing up your phone since 6 a.m. I freeze. Travis? Alessandro reaches into his other pocket and pulls out my cracked smartphone. The screen is lit up with missed calls and angry texts. Where are you? I'm calling the cops, Elle. You think you can hide him from me? He's persistent, Alessandro notes dryly, and loud. I reach for the phone, my hands shaking. I have to answer. If I don't, he'll call the police. He'll say I kidnapped Leo. He has a lawyer. He has a public defender and a drinking problem, Alessandro corrects. I had a file run on him this morning. You investigated my ex? I investigate anyone who threatens what is mine. I am not yours. For the next month you are. His eyes darken. Give me the phone. No, I have to explain. He gently but firmly takes the phone from my hand. He hits the call button and puts it on speaker. Finally! Travis's voice barks out, tinny and aggressive. Where the hell are you, Elena? I'm at the apartment. The landlord says you're gone. If you don't bring Leo here in an hour, I'm filing for emergency custody. You unstable bit. Travis, Alessandro says. He doesn't shout. He speaks with a terrifying calm. Silence on the other end. Then, who is this? Who the hell is this? My name is Alessandro Rossi. You will want to write that down. I can hear Travis's breath hitch. Everyone in Chicago knows the name Rossi. It's synonymous with concrete shoes and missing persons. Listen, buddy, Travis stammers, his bravado crumbling. I don't know what... Elena is with me. Alessandro interrupts. She is my fiancé. Leo is under my protection. If you ever threaten her again, if you ever come within 5 miles of them, I will buy the building you live in and evict you. I will buy the bar you drink at and ban you. And then, Travis, I will come for a visit. He pauses, letting the threat hang in the air like a guillotine blade. Do we understand each other? Yeah, okay, just tell her I said hey. The line goes dead. Alessandro looks at me, his expression unreadable. He drops the phone onto the counter. Problem solved. I'm shaking. Part of me is horrified. He just threatened the father of my child. But the other part, the darker part that I keep hidden, is relieved. For 5 years, I have been fighting Travis alone. I have been scared every time the phone rings. And in 30 seconds, Alessandro silenced the monster. You can't just bully people for me, I whisper, though the protest sounds weak. I can, he says simply, and I will. He reaches out and tucks a lock of hair behind my ear, his fingers grazing my cheek. The contact sends a jolt of heat straight to my toes. Go get dressed, he commands gently. The stylist will be here in an hour. We have a lunch date. A date? Alessandro, people are trying to kill us. Exactly. We need to be seen. We need the city to see how much I adore you. We need the Volkovs to see that you are untouchable because you stand next to me. He leans down, his lips brushing the shell of my ear. Wear something tight, Elena. I want them to be jealous. The stylist, a frantic French woman named Sophie, arrives with 3 racks of clothes that cost more than my entire education. She chatters endlessly as she pulls and prods at me in the master bedroom. Monsieur Rossi said elegant but accessible, she mutters, holding up a cream-colored cashmere sweater dress. He said, make her look like a queen who walks among the people. I stand in front of the mirror in the dress. It clings to every curve, soft and warm. It has a high neck, but a slit up the thigh that reaches scandalously high. I look expensive. I look like a woman who has never worried about an overdraft fee. Perfect, Sophie declares. Now the coat. Camel hair, classic. When I walk downstairs 30 minutes later, Alessandro is waiting by the front door. He's changed into a charcoal suit, no tie, with the top button of his shirt undone. He looks less like a businessman and more like a predator in disguise. He watches me descend the stairs. His gaze starts at my heels and travels slowly, agonizingly, up my legs, my hips, and my chest, resting finally on my face. The heat in his eyes is palpable. It makes my skin prickle. Well, I ask, feeling self-conscious. Is it enough? He walks to the bottom of the stairs and offers me his hand. You look dangerous, he says low in his throat. Let's go. What about Leo? Marco is staying with him. They are watching Jurassic Park. He is safe. I hesitate. Leaving Leo is the hardest thing I do. Trust me, Alessandro says. Marco is former Special Forces, and he is terrified of me. He won't let a fly land on the boy. I take his hand. Where are we going? Il Gattopardo, he says. My family's restaurant, the most public place in the city for our set. The drive into the city is tense. I sit in the passenger seat of his sleek black sports car. No driver this time. Alessandro drives with one hand on the wheel, his other resting on the gear shift, dangerously close to my knee. He constantly checks the mirrors. Are you scared? He asks, glancing at me. Yes. Good, fear keeps you sharp. You don't look scared. I am used to the water. You are just learning to swim. We pull up to the restaurant. Valets swarm the car. Paparazzi are already there. Someone tipped them off. Showtime, Alessandro mutters. Take my arm, stay close. If you hear a pop, drop to the ground. Very romantic, I hiss. I aim to please. He gets out and comes around to my side, opening the door. Cameras flash, blinding white explosions. Alessandro, is it true? Who is she? He ignores them all. He wraps his arm around my waist, pulling me flush against his side. His grip is iron. He guides me through the crowd, shielding me with his body. Inside the restaurant is an oasis of calm, dark wood, white tablecloths, hushed conversations. But the moment we walk in, silence falls. Every head turns. Alessandro guides me to a corner table, the best seat in the house, with a view of the door and a solid wall behind us. Strategist. He pulls out my chair. As I sit, he leans down, his cheek brushing mine. Everyone is watching, he whispers. Touch me. My hand trembles as I reach up and rest it on his forearm. The muscle is hard as a rock beneath the expensive fabric. "Good," he murmurs. He sits opposite me. A waiter appears instantly with a bottle of wine. "Don Alessandro." "The usual?" "Yes." The waiter pours sparkling water for the lady. She has a long day. My heart isn't beating. It's vibrating. I'm frozen, my hand still hovering near the water glass, watching the man I agreed to marry turn into a demon in a bespoke suit. Alessandro hasn't blinked. His hand is rock steady. His eyes are void of humanity, just pure, cold calculation. "I said." Alessandro repeats, his voice a low rumble that seems to shake the floorboards. "Step back." Dimitri's eyes dart to his bodyguards. They've reached for their jackets, but Alessandro's security detail has materialized from the shadows, guns drawn and leveled. A stalemate, a powder keg waiting for a spark. "You are making a mistake, Rossi," Dimitri chokes out, his Adam's apple bobbing against the blade. "This is bad for business." "Touching my fiancé is bad for your health," Alessandro counters. He leans in closer, his lips brushing Dimitri's ear, but his eyes are on me, checking me, making sure I'm not breaking. "Walk away, Dimitri. Go back to the docks. If I see you in my city again this week, I will send you back to Moscow in a box." He withdraws the knife slowly, a deliberate show of arrogance. He wipes the single drop of blood onto Dimitri's expensive lapel. Dimitri stumbles back, his hand flying to his throat. He looks at Alessandro with pure hatred. Then his gaze shifts to me. A shiver rakes down my spine. It's a look that promises retribution. "Enjoy the girl, Alessandro," Dimitri sneers, backing away. "While you can." He signals his men and they retreat, a storm cloud of violence rolling out the door. The tension in the room doesn't break, it snaps. The air rushes back in. Alessandro drops the knife onto the table. It clatters loudly. He turns to me and the demon vanishes. In its place is a man consumed by concern. He grabs my face in both hands, tilting my head up. His thumbs are rough against my skin, grounding me. "Did he touch you?" he demands, scanning my face and my neck. "Did he hurt you?" "No," I whisper, my voice trembling. "You stopped him." "I should have killed him," he growls, looking at the door. "I should have finished it." "Alessandro, stop." I cover his hands with mine. His skin is burning. "Everyone is staring. Please, get me out of here." He blinks, coming back to the present. He nods, his jaw tight. He stands, pulling me up with him, wrapping his arm around my waist so tightly it's almost painful. He tosses a stack of bills onto the table, enough to buy the table itself, and marches me toward the exit. "Eyes down," he commands as we pass the paparazzi outside. "Don't let them see fear. Let them see a queen who is bored by the peasants." I force my spine straight. I lift my chin. I channel every ounce of strength I have, pretending I'm not a waitress who worries about grocery bills, but a woman who belongs at the side of a king. We dive into the car. Alessandro peels away from the curb before the door is even fully closed, the tires screeching against the asphalt. The drive is silent for 10 minutes. The speedometer climbs. 80. 90. He's driving like he's trying to outrun his rage. His knuckles are white on the leather steering wheel. I watch him. Most women would be terrified. I am terrified. But I'm also something else. I'm fascinated. I reach out and place my hand on his thigh. His muscles jump under my touch. He doesn't look at me, but the car slows down. 80, 60, 40. "I'm sorry," he says, the words ripped from his throat. "For what? Saving me?" "For exposing you to that filth. I thought a public lunch would be safe. I underestimated their stupidity." He hits the steering wheel with the palm of his hand. "I put you in danger, Elena. Again." "You didn't put me in danger," I say softly. "You stood between me and the danger. There's a difference." He glances at me then, his eyes searching mine. "You are taking this remarkably well. Most civilians would be hysterical." "I'm not a civilian," I say, looking out the window at the passing city. "I'm a mother. Hysteria is a luxury I can't afford. If I fall apart, Leo falls apart, so I don't fall apart. He is silent for a long moment. Then, his hand leaves the gear shift and covers mine on his leg. He laces our fingers together, squeezing tight. "You are stronger than any soldier I have," he murmurs. We don't speak for the rest of the drive, but the silence isn't heavy anymore. It's shared, a secret pact forged in the quiet hum of a speeding engine. When we get back to the safe house, the adrenaline crash hits me. My legs feel like jelly as I walk up the steps. Alessandro notices. He doesn't ask. He acts. He sweeps me up into his arms, carrying me bridal style through the front door. "Alessandro, put me down!" I squeak, clutching his shoulders. "No," he says, "you're shaking. I can walk." "I know you can, but you don't have to." He carries me past the security team in the foyer. They don't bat an eye. He carries me into the living room and deposits me gently onto the massive plush sofa. "Stay," he orders. "I will get Leo." He disappears and returns a moment later with my son. Leo is wearing a plastic firefighter helmet and holding a walkie-talkie. "Mommy, Mr. Marco taught me call signs. I'm Eagle 1. I laugh, the sound wet with relief. I pull him into a hug, burying my face in his neck. "Hi, Eagle 1. I missed you." "Did you have a good lunch?" Leo asks, pulling back. "Did you bring me cake?" I falter. "I forgot." "I'm sorry, baby, I forgot." "I didn't," Alessandro says. He produces a small white box from behind his back. "Tiramisu, from the kitchen." Leo's eyes go wide. "Yes!" Alessandro sits on the coffee table, bringing him down to Leo's level. He opens the box. "But we have to make a deal. You eat the cake and you tell me about the T-Rex again. I think I missed a part about the teeth." Leo beams. "Okay." I watch them. The ruthless Mafia boss, who just held a knife to a man's throat, now listens intently as a 5-year-old explains the mechanics of a dinosaur jaw. Alessandro wipes a smudge of chocolate off Leo's cheek, with a tenderness that makes my chest ache. "It's a trap. I know it is. It's a biological trap designed to make me trust him." "He is dangerous," my brain screams. "He is perfect," my heart whispers. For the rest of the afternoon, the house feels strangely domestic. The rain starts to fall outside, drumming against the reinforced glass. We stay in the living room. Alessandro works on a laptop, occasionally taking calls in Italian, his voice low and clipped. I read a book to Leo. It feels like a lie, a beautiful, warm, expensive lie. As evening falls, Mrs. Higgins takes Leo upstairs for a bath. The house goes quiet. I walk to the window, watching the rain blur the lights of the security patrol outside. "What are you thinking?" Alessandro is standing behind me. I didn't hear him approach. He moves like a ghost when he wants to. "I'm thinking about the bill," I say, turning to face him. "What bill?" "The emotional bill. You paid my rent, you paid for electricity, you paid off Travis. But nothing is free, Alessandro. What is this procedure going to cost me in the end?" He steps closer, blocking out the rest of the room. The shadows play across his face, highlighting the sharp line of his jaw and the darkness of his eyes. "It will cost you your anonymity," he says honestly. "After today, everyone knows your face. You can never go back to being the invisible waitress." "I know. It might cost you your peace of mind. You will always look over your shoulder." "I was already doing that. Poverty makes you paranoid too." He reaches out, his hand hovering near my face before he drops it, as if stopping himself. "And," he adds, his voice dropping to a whisper, "it might cost you your heart." My breath hitches. Is that a threat? It's a warning. He looks at me with a raw intensity that strips me bare. "I am not a good man, Elena. I have done things that would make you sick. But when I look at you, when I see you with your son, I want to be the man you think I am. I don't know who you are, I admit. I know the prince. I know the protector. I don't know Alessandro." "Then ask," he challenges. "Ask me anything. No lies. Not tonight." "Okay." I swallow hard. The scar on your chest. I saw it through your shirt earlier. How did you get it? He unbuttons the top 2 buttons of his shirt, pulling the fabric aside. A jagged, raised white line runs from his collarbone down toward his heart. 3 years ago, a failed hit, a sniper in Boston. He traces the line. He remarks, "It narrowly missed my heart. Does it hurt?" I reach out, my fingers trembling, and touch the scar. His skin is hot. He sucks in a sharp breath at my touch. "Only when it rains," he murmurs. "It's raining now." "Yes." His eyes lock onto mine. "But I don't feel the rain. I only feel you." The air between us is thick, heavy with unsaid words and magnetic pull. My hand is still on his chest. I can feel the steady, mighty thud of his heart beneath my palm. It's beating fast as mine. He leans in, slowly, giving me every chance to run. "Elena," he breathes, "tell me to stop." "I can't," I whisper. He closes the distance. His lips crash onto mine. It's not a gentle kiss. It's a collision. It's hunger, desperation, and anger, all wrapped up in one. He tastes of red wine and danger. His hands tangle in my hair, pulling my head back, deepening the kiss until I'm dizzy. I clutch his shirt, pulling him closer, my body betraying every logical thought I've ever had. I should be running. Instead, I'm melting. He groans low in his throat, a primal sound that vibrates against my lips. He walks me backwards until my back hits the cold glass of the window. He presses his body against mine, hard and demanding. I can feel the gun in his shoulder holster, a chilly reminder of who he is. But I don't care. For a minute, the world dissolves. There are no Russians, no debts, no danger, just Alessandro. Then he pulls back. He's breathing hard, his pupils blown wide, his lips swollen. He rests his forehead against mine, his eyes closed. "I shouldn't have done that," he rasps. "Why?" I whisper, my pulse thundering in my ears. "Because," he says as he opens his eyes, which are full of torment, "I can't protect you if I'm distracted by wanting you. And God, Elena, I want you so much it hurts." He steps back, putting space between us. The loss of his warmth is immediate and painful. "Go to bed," he says, his voice rough. "Lock your door. I will see you in the morning." He turns and walks away, disappearing into the shadows of the hallway, leaving me standing alone against the cold window, my lips still tingling with the ghost of his touch. The next 3 days are a blur of tension and preparation. The engagement party is set for Saturday. It's not just a party. It's a declaration of war disguised as a gala. Alessandro is manic. He's on the phone constantly. Security teams sweep the house every hour. I barely see him. He avoids me. I know why. He's afraid that if he touches me again, he won't be able to stop. I spend my time with Leo, trying to keep him entertained in the gilded cage. But I also spend time in the library, reading, not novels. I read the files Alessandro left on the desk. I read about the families, the territories, the history of violence in Chicago. If I am going to be the queen, I need to know the kingdom. On the 3rd night, I find something disturbing, a folder labeled assets. I open it. It's a list of properties, businesses, and people. My name is on the list. Target, Elena Vance. Value, high leverage. Status, acquired. Acquired. I've acquired a piece of furniture, like a car. Anger flares in my chest, hot and bright. I grab the file and storm out of the library. I find Alessandro in the gym downstairs. He is punching a heavy bag. Thud. 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 The sound echoes in the concrete room. He's shirtless, sweat glistening on his back, the muscles rippling with every strike. The scar on his chest is stark white against his tan skin. "Acquired?" I yell, throwing the file onto the bench. He stops mid-punch. He holds the bag steady, breathing heavily. He turns to me, wiping sweat from his forehead with a taped hand. "You were snooping," he says calmly. "I was educating myself. You told me to ask. You told me no lies." I point at the file. "Am I just an asset to you? High leverage? Is that all I am? Bait for the Russians? He walks over to his water bottle, unscrews it, and takes a long drink. He doesn't look rattled. He looks tired. When I wrote that file, he says, leaning against the wall, you were just an asset. You were a means to an end, a way to get my grandfather off my back. And now? I demand, stepping closer. What am I now? He drops the water bottle. He closes the distance between us in 2 strides. He grabs my shoulders, his taped hands rough against my bare arms. Now, he hisses, you are the only thing that matters. You are the weakness they will use to destroy me, and I don't care. I would burn this whole city to the ground to keep them from touching you. He shakes me slightly. Do not doubt me, Elena. I acquired you and used you, but somewhere between the waffles and the bullet holes I lost control. You are not an asset anymore. You are... He stops, clenching his jaw. I am what? I challenge him. You are the liability I can't live without. He releases me and turns away, grabbing a towel. Go upstairs. We have a meeting with the wedding planner in the morning. You need to pick out flowers for a fake wedding, while I figure out how to keep us from getting blown up at the altar. I watch him for a moment. He's pushing me away again. But this time I don't leave. I walk up behind him. I reach out and trace the spine of his back, down to the waistband of his sweatpants. He freezes. You're not the only one who is scared, Alessandro, I whisper to his back. But I'm done running. I leave the gym before he can respond. I need him to stew in that. I need him to know that I'm not just a passive piece on his chessboard. I'm the queen. And the queen protects the king. Saturday. The engagement party. The venue is a private estate on Lake Michigan. It's a fortress dressed up in white roses and fairy lights. I am wearing a dress that shouldn't be legal. It's shimmering silver, backless, and fitting so tight I can't take a deep breath. It looks like armor made of diamonds. Alessandro stands beside me in a black tuxedo. He looks devastated. He also looks like he's ready to kill everyone in the room. Smile, he murmurs as the doors open. They are all watching. Let them watch, I say, linking my arm through his. Let them see what they can't have. He looks down at me, a flicker of pride in his eyes. That's my girl. We walk into the ballroom. It's a sea of sharks. The heads of the 5 families are here, politicians, judges, and in the corner, holding a glass of vodka, stands Dmitry Volkov. He raises his glass to us, a silent challenge. Stay by my side, Alessandro orders. Always. The night is a blur of handshakes and fake smiles. I play the part perfectly. I laugh at boring jokes. I show off the ring. I look at Alessandro with adoration, a feeling that is becoming increasingly genuine. Then the music stops. Don Carlo, Alessandro's grandfather, taps a spoon against his glass. The room goes silent. Friends, family, the old man rasps into the microphone. We are gathered here to celebrate the union of my grandson, Alessandro, to this lovely woman, Elena. Applause ripples through the room. But, Don Carlo continues, his eyes hardening, we also gather to send a message. The Rossi family is strong. We do not bow. We do not break. He looks directly at the Volkov corner. And we protect our own. Suddenly, the lights cut out. Pitch black. Screams erupt. Glass shatters. Elena! Alessandro's voice roars in the darkness. I feel a hand grab my arm. But it's not Alessandro's hand. It's too small. Too sweaty. Come with me if you want to see your kid again. A voice hisses in my ear. My blood freezes. Leo. Let go of me! I scream, thrashing in the dark. Elena. Alessandro is closer now. I can hear him fighting. Hear the sound of fists hitting flesh. Get off her! Alessandro shouts. A gunshot rings out. The muzzle flash briefly illuminates the room. In that flash, I see him. Alessandro. He's 5 feet away. He's reaching for me. And then I see the man holding me. It's not Russian. It's Travis, my ex. He has a knife. And he has a look of drug-fueled madness in his eyes. She's mine! Travis screams. He drags me backwards. I stomp on his foot with my stiletto heel. He howls but doesn't let go. The emergency lights flicker on. The room is in chaos. People are running. Security is swarming. Alessandro sees us. He sees Travis holding the knife to my ribs. Alessandro stops. He holds up his hands. His face is a mask of pure terror. I have never seen him scared before. Not with the gun. Not with the Russians. But he is scared now. "Travis," Alessandro says, his voice shaking. "Let her go." "You took her," Travis spits, backing toward the terrace doors. "You took my son." "I can give you money," Alessandro says, stepping forward slowly. "I can give you anything you want. Just move the knife." "I want my family back," Travis yells. He jerks me back. The knife nicks my side. I gasped, feeling the sting and the warm trickle of blood. Alessandro's eyes drop to the blood on my silver dress. Something inside him snaps. The fear vanishes. The calculation returns. "Travis," Alessandro says, his voice devoid of all emotion. "Look at me." Travis blinks, distracted. "Duck," Alessandro whispers. I drop. I don't think so. I collapse my knees, letting gravity take me. The gunshot is deafening. The gunshot is deafening in the enclosed space. It's a crack of thunder that rattles my teeth. Travis jerks back as if he's been punched by an invisible giant. The knife flies from his hand, skittering across the marble floor. He looks at me, his eyes wide with shock, his mouth opening to speak, but no sound comes out. He crumples backwards, crashing through the glass of the terrace doors and onto the stone balcony outside. I am curled in a ball on the floor, my hands over my head, shaking so hard my teeth chatter. The silence that follows is heavy, suffocating. It lasts for a heartbeat, then two. Then strong hands are on me. Elena, look at me!" Alessandro is on his knees beside me, ruining his tuxedo trousers on the glass-strewn floor. He pulls me upright, his grip frantic. His eyes are wild, scanning my face, my neck, and my body. "Did he cut you? Where's the blood coming from?" I don't know. I stammer, my voice sounding 1,000,000 miles away. I look down at my side. The silver dress is stained dark red at the waist. He had the knife. He pulled. "Shh, shh," Alessandro soothes, though his voice is trembling with rage. He rips the hem of his expensive shirt and presses the cloth against my side. "It's a scratch. It's shallow. You're okay. I've got you." "Travis," I whisper, looking toward the broken doors. "Is he—" Alessandro grabs my chin, forcing me to look at him. His eyes are black pits of intensity. "He is gone. He will never touch you again. Do you hear me? Never." "You killed him," I say, the reality crashing down on me. "You killed Leo's father." "I killed a man who held a knife to your throat," he growls. "I would kill the Pope if he held a knife to your throat." Security guards swarm us, forming a human wall. The party guests are screaming as the hotel staff is ushering them out. But inside the circle of bodyguards, it's just Alessandro and me. He scoops me up into his arms, ignoring the blood that transfers to his jacket. "We are leaving," he barks at Marco. "Get the car, now." As he carries me through the lobby, cameras flash. I bury my face in his chest, hiding from the world. I breathe in his scent, gunpowder, expensive cologne, and sweat. It's the smell of safety. It's the smell of him. The drive back to the penthouse is a blur of sirens and rain. Alessandro holds me the entire time, refusing to let me sit on my own. He keeps one hand pressed to my side, applying pressure, his other hand stroking my hair, murmuring reassurances in Italian. "Tesoro, bella mia, perdonami. We don't go to the safe house. We go to the penthouse. It's closer." He carries me straight to the main bathroom. He sets me down on the vanity counter. "I need to see the wound," he says, his voice clinically detached, though his hands are shaking slightly. "I need to get this dress off. The silver dress is ruined." He takes a pair of scissors from a drawer. "May I?" he asks, meeting my eyes. I nod. He cuts the fabric. The expensive silk falls away, leaving me in my underwear. I should feel exposed, but I don't. I feel seen. He wets a cloth with warm water and disinfectant. He cleans the cut on my waist. He was right. It's shallow. A long scratch, angry and red, but not deep. It won't need stitches, he says, applying a butterfly bandage with gentle precision. It will heal in a week. And the scar? I ask, looking at the fresh mark on my skin. He leans in, pressing his lips to the skin just above the bandage. The kiss is a brand, a reminder, he whispers against my skin, that you survived. He stays there, his face buried in the curve of my waist, his hands gripping my hips. I can feel him trembling. The adrenaline dump is hitting him now. I reach down and run my fingers through his dark hair. Alessandro, I say softly, you're shaking. He pulls back, looking up at me. His face is ravaged with guilt. I hesitated, he confesses, his voice cracking. When he grabbed you, I hesitated. I was so afraid of hitting you that I waited too long. He cut you because I was too slow. You weren't slow, you were careful. Careful gets people killed, he shouts suddenly, standing up and pacing the small bathroom. My father was careful. He hesitated when the rivals came for my mother and she died screaming. I swore I would never be like him. I swore I would be ruthless. He turns to me, his chest heaving. But with you, I can't be ruthless. You make me human, Elena, and being human is dangerous. Being human is what saved me, I counter. I hop off the counter, ignoring the sting in my side. I walk to him. He looks like he wants to back away, to protect me from his own darkness, but he hits the wall. I place my hands on his chest, over his heart. Travis was going to kill me, I say firmly. You didn't hesitate, Alessandro. You aimed, you saved my life, you saved Leo's mother. At the mention of Leo, he squeezes his eyes shut. A tear, a single impossible tear, leaks out. Leo, he chokes out. How am I going to explain this to him? I killed his father. Travis wasn't a father, I say, my voice hard. He was a sperm donor with a temper. Leo doesn't even know him. Travis hasn't seen him since he was 2. You. I pause, realizing the truth of the words before I say them. You are the only father figure he has ever known. You made him waffles. You taught him about dinosaurs. You protected us. Alessandro opens his eyes. The darkness in them is swirling, but a light is breaking through. Hope. I love you, he says. The words hang in the air, heavy and absolute. He looks shocked that he said it. I'm amazed that I heard it. I didn't mean to say that, he whispers. I would rather not trap you. Repeat it, I demand, stepping closer. He wraps his arms around me, pulling me so close I can't breathe, burying his face in my neck. I love you, Elena. I love you more than this city, more than my legacy. I love you to the point of madness. When I saw that knife pressed against your skin, I felt as if I had died. I died, Elena. My heart swells until I think it might burst. The fear of the night, the blood, the gunshots, it all fades away. All that's left is this. I love you too, I cry, the tears finally falling. I love you, you idiot. He pulls back, capturing my lips in a kiss that tastes of salt and salvation. It's not a hungry kiss like before. It's a desperate, worshipful claim. He kisses me like I'm the only air in the room. We eventually move to the bedroom. We don't have sex. We lie there, tangled together in the sheets, needing the physical contact to prove we are both still alive. There is a knock at the door. Alessandro stiffens, his hand going instinctively to the gun on the nightstand. Who is it? He calls out, his voice lethal. It is me, a raspy voice answers. Alessandro relaxes slightly. Come in, Nonno. Don Carlo walks in. The older man looks worn out, leaning heavily on his cane. He looks at us, me in my underwear, Alessandro in his ruined shirt, lying in bed together. He doesn't scold us. He walks over to the side of the bed. He looks at me, really looks at me. You have blood on your skin, figlia mia, the old man says softly. It's over now, I say. No. Don Carlo shakes his head. It is just beginning. Tonight, the city saw Alessandro kill for you. They saw him claim you in blood. There is no going back to a fake engagement now. To the world, you are a Rossi." He reaches into his pocket and pulls out a folded piece of paper. "It's the contract, Alessandro, and I've signed it. This is the contract that promised me $10,000. Don Carlo holds a lighter to the corner of the paper. We watch in silence as it curls into ash and falls to the floor. "The contract is void," Don Carlo says. "You are not an employee, Elena. You are family, and the Rossi family takes care of its own." He looks at Alessandro. "The Volkovs sent your ex-boyfriend. We found the payments in his phone. They paid him $5,000 to cause a scene. They didn't think he would bring a knife." Alessandro's face goes cold. "The Volkovs are dead." "Yes," Don Carlo agrees. "By morning, they will be gone. I have already given the order. No one touches the future Don's wife." The older man turns to leave. At the door, he pauses. "The boy," he says. "Leo. Bring him on Sunday. I want to teach him how to play bocce." With that, he leaves. Alessandro turns to me. He looks at the pile of ash on the floor. "He's right," he says. "The contract is gone." He reaches into the drawer of the nightstand. He pulls out a ring box. This isn't the prop ring I've been wearing. He pulls out a different type of ring box, an antique. He opens it. Inside is a ruby, dark as blood, surrounded by diamonds. "This was my mother's," he says, his voice thick with emotion. "She asked my father to give it to the woman who made him feel safe." He takes my hand. He slides the prop ring off and slides the ruby on. "Elena Vance," he whispers, his eyes shining. "Will you marry me? For real. No money, no contracts. Just me. And the chaos that comes with me." I look at the ring. I look at the man who would burn the world for me. I think of Leo, safe and loved. I think of the woman I was a week ago, scared, broke, invisible. I'm not her anymore. "Yes," I say. "Yes, Alessandro, I'm yours." 6 months later, the sun is shining over Lake Como. It's bright, warm, and smells of lemon trees and water. I stand on the terrace of the villa, looking out at the glittering blue water. I'm wearing white. A real wedding dress this time. Lace, fitted, elegant. "Mommy, look at me." I look down. Leo is running across the grass, kicking a soccer ball. He's wearing a miniature tuxedo. He looks beaming, healthy. He hasn't needed his inhaler in 3 months. The Italian suits him. Running behind him, laughing, is Alessandro, my husband. He catches Leo, scooping him up and spinning him around. Leo shrieks with delight. Alessandro kisses his cheek and sets him down, ruffling his hair. He looks up and sees me on the balcony. He stops. The look on his face is the same one he gave me that night in the ballroom. Hunger, awe, possession. He walks up the stone steps, taking them 2 at a time. He reaches me, pulling me into his arms. He looks different now. The tension that used to live in his shoulders is gone. The shadows in his eyes have receded. "You are beautiful," he murmurs, kissing my neck. "You're late," I tease, smoothing the lapel of his jacket. "The guests are waiting." "Let them wait. I am the dawn. I run on my time." "You're arrogant." "I'm happy," he corrects. He rests his forehead against mine. "I never thought I would be happy, Elena. I thought my life was just duty and death. You gave me this." He gestures to the villa, the lake, and our son playing in the grass. "You gave me a life, and you gave me a future," I whisper. He pulls back, his thumb tracing my lower lip. "Are you ready, Mrs. Rossi?" I smile, and for the first time in my life, I don't feel a shred of fear. I don't worry about the bill. I don't worry about the danger. Because I know that whatever comes our way, we will face it together. I look at the ruby on my finger glinting in the sun. "I'm ready," I say. He takes my hand, interlacing our fingers. We turn and walk back into the villa, toward the music, toward the family, toward our forever. The invisible waitress is gone. The queen has arrived. And long live the king. Queen,